Manny, I think Rolly has the WBO 147 title. He says you're his legacy fight. What? Rolando, he says you're his legacy fight.
You're looking in tremendous shape. You're ready to fight Barrios tonight and make history, Manny.
Manny, you excited to step into the ring again?
Yes.
What do you think of Barrios? He's a big, strong. What do you think of Barrios? He's a big, strong, he's young, he's 30. You have 16 years on him, Manny.
Don't worry about it. You know, Manny, for a lot of people, you are the greatest fighter in history, the only champion in 45 decades. When you beat Barrios, what does that say?
Oh, it's a big thing for me.
Manny Pacquiao is set to make a controversial return to the boxing ring this July, aiming to dominance across multiple weight divisions, but also for the electrifying bouts he delivered, especially break his own record as the oldest welterweight, world champion in history when he takes on Mario Barrios. Pacquiao's legendary career is etched into the sport's history, not only for his epic rivalry with Mexico's Juan Manuel Marquez. Their four-fight saga, marked by razor-thin decisions and dramatic shifts in momentum, was a defining feature of early 2000s boxing. Despite being the rival who ended their series with a stunning knockout in 2012, Marquez has taken a surprisingly respectful and supportive stance on Pacquiao's comeback.
I think Manny Pacquiao, I think his C game is a lot better than anybody, a lot of guys' A game, even with the age. But you have to take into account the last time he stepped foot in that ring against Ugas. You know, he didn't look good. He was outmatched by, you know, a younger fighter. Barrios is no slouch. Barrios is a young fighter, you know, bigger fighter, knows how to, you know, control distance very well. Can punch a little bit. Like, he's no easy task for anybody in the welterweight division. And for Manny...
Speaking to ProBox TV, Juan Manuel Marquez, who retired in 2014 as a four-division world champion, voiced a perspective not commonly shared regarding Manny Pacquiao's comeback. Unlike others who question Pacquiao's age, conditioning, or motivations, Marquez encourages the boxing community to give the Filipino icon the benefit of the doubt. If Pacquiao feels good, no shoulder, knee, or foot injuries, and he's perfectly fine, then let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's see what kind of fight he puts up against Mario Barrios, Marquez stated. He highlighted that the most important aspect to watch is Pacquiao's approach to the fight, specifically his style and strategy. Will he be aggressive? Will he rely on his power? Because power is the last thing a fighter loses, Marquez explained. Let's give the benefit of the doubt to a historic fighter. What matters is the integrity of the fighter. Pacquiao still hits hard. Let's see how Barrios handles that. Another notable supporter of Manny Pacquiao's decision to return to the ring is Sugar Ray Leonard, widely regarded as one of boxing's all-time greats. Leonard, who made several comebacks during his own illustrious career, including a finals bout in 1997 against Hector Camacho at age 40, following a 6-year layoff, offered unwavering support for Pacquiao's move. There's not one thing that will really make people understand why we do what we do, Leonard said when asked about Pacquiao's return. But you know what? God bless, stay healthy, and take care. Leonard drew a parallel between Pacquiao's drive and his own. I've made more comebacks than everybody, he added. I hold the record, undisputed. That sentiment holds. Wait, as Leonard's later years in the sport were defined by bold returns that often defied both public opinion and professional advice. Pacquiao, it seems, is prepared to follow a similar path, driven by the same relentless passion that has defined many of boxing's legends.
That one horrible time, it was all me. It was my mindset. It was the way I felt like. I believe I could win. I trained hard, but you know what? I won't do it again. You know what I mean? I won't do it again. But I can't tell someone don't do that. 'Cause I made too many comebacks.
As for Manny, just any advice from him at all?
Despite support from boxing legends, many observers view Manny Pacquiao's return as a mismatch, favoring Mario Barrios. Younger, fresher, and still active, Barrios is seen by some as possessing too much energy and pace for the 46-year-old Pacquiao to contend with. However, not everyone shares that outlook. Former two-time welterweight world champion Shawn Porter believes there is still a viable path to victory for Pacquiao. On the May 21st episode of the Porter Way podcast, Porter offered a detailed breakdown of what Pacquiao must do to stay competitive. As you get older, a boxer's speed starts to decline. Mentally and psychologically, you don't feel it. But your timing, it just slows down. That's time, Porter explained. He suggested that Pacquiao should employ a fast-paced, explosive strategy right from the opening bell. To me, Manny has to come out very strong, very fast in the first couple of rounds, because his gas tank ain't what it used to be, Porter said.
We're here in Manila with the great legendary champion Manny Pacquiao, Sean Gibbons, and Manny is announcing the creation of the memorial for the 50th anniversary of Ali Frazier, the Thrill in Manila.
That was 50 years ago.
So next October 1st, 2025, many surprises to come.
Porter went further, emphasizing that at 46 years old, Pacquiao's stamina is unlikely to sustain a high-level performance over 12 rounds. Therefore, he believes Pacquiao should concentrate his efforts early in the fight. At 46 years old, you come out. And let's just say, hypothetically, your gas tank is half full. I'd rather use that half tank in 2 or 3 rounds and really get off on this kid, Porter explained. He also pointed out that Mario Barrios' fighting style could actually play into Pacquiao's hands, particularly in the early stages of the bout. Another contributor on the podcast suggested that if Pacquiao can hurt Barrios early, it might compromise Barrios' mobility and confidence as the fight wears on. Porter agreed, noting that such a scenario could be a game changer. An early breakthrough could allow Pacquiao to control the momentum and possibly swing the fight in his favor, even with a limited gas tank.
His gas tank ain't what it used to be. At 48 years old now, or 46, 47, 46 years old now, what?
Come out hot, fucking around out of gas.
At 40,
and get stopped.
but think about it. At 46 years old, you come out, and let's just say hypothetically, your gas is half full at 46 years old. I'd rather try to use that half tank
when I got something
in 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And really get off on this kid because he has the kind of styles make fights.
Pacquiao hasn't fought since 2021.
Pacquiao hasn't stepped into the ring since 2021, when he dropped a decision loss to Yordenis Ugas, a fight that indicated time may finally be catching up with the boxing legend. Throughout that bout, Pacquiao struggled to close the distance and sustain his trademark volume and intensity over 12 rounds. His last victory came in 2019 against Keith Thurman, where he flashed glimpses of his vintage speed, timing, and explosiveness, reminding fans of the fighter who once dominated multiple divisions. Interestingly, Pacquiao's upcoming bout doesn't appear to be a one-off farewell. According to his longtime advisor, Shawn Gibbons, Pacquiao has his sights set on an even bigger name, following Mario Barrios, none other than Gervonta Tank Davis.
Really? Look, I love Manny Pacquiao, but that doesn't entitle you to just walk back in after 6 years and get a number 4 ranking with the WBC.
I can fight anybody.
I don't know how Pacquiao coming back and getting a world title shot.
Do you know who you're dealing with?
46, Manny's not going to be the same guy. We saw Manny degrade when he was actually still fighting 4.5 years ago.
I think we're gonna be worried about what happens in that fight.
What about all the other guys that are waiting around and fight for a world title?
I think that's crazy, that he coming back. I mean, be able to unify, then the undisputed. If he get the belt, he get the belt.
So we know he's not going to beat
Gervonta Tank Davis, the current WBA lightweight champion, is preparing for a rematch against Lamont Roach following their first bout, which ended in a controversial majority draw. This uncertainty surrounding Davis's title reign has given Manny Pacquiao's team renewed confidence about a potential showdown. According to Pacquiao's longtime advisor, Sean Gibbons, a win over Mario Barrios could pave the way for the dream. Matchup Pacquiao has been chasing. Line them up. His dream fight is Gervonta Davis, Gibbons said. He loves that fight. He's been trying to make it happen for a couple of years. Gibbons also took a jab at Davis, referencing past hesitations. Gervonta kept saying he didn't want to fight Manny at 145. Then he goes and gets smoked by Lamont Roach. So now Manny can win this belt, and it's going to be a wonderful ride out.
Your interpretation is that the boxing public is upset because they believe Pacquiao's going to beat Barrios, which is going to lead to a Tank Pacquiao fight?
Yes, look around. Look in the Discord. That's what everybody, Pac and Tank, that's being set up.
Oh,
Tank and Pac.
Okay, so they saying Barrios is the setup for Tank and Pac. I didn't see that, but your argument makes sense. If he beats Barrios, there's nothing wrong with him fighting Tank. But the issue is he don't deserve the Barrios fight off of 3 years off and a loss to Ugas.
Next, cry me a real.
Prospect of Manny Pacquiao facing Gervonta Davis is a polarizing one. Davis is younger, faster, and considerably fresher. A dangerous combination against any opponent, let alone a 46-year-old returning from a lengthy layoff. Yet the mere fact that Pacquiao is seriously considering such a fight underscores his unwavering self-belief and the depth of his legendary legacy. Former opponent Chris Algeri has weighed in with cautious optimism about Pacquiao's upcoming bout against Mario Barrios. Algeri, who lost to Pacquiao via unanimous decision in 2014, still recalls just how formidable the Filipino icon was at his peak. In a recent piece for Boxing Scene, Algeri reflected on the immense physical and psychological toll the sport exacts over time, especially on a fighter with a staggering 72-fight career like Pacquiao's.
Are you cool with Pacquiao against Mario Barrios?
I am. I'm cool with it. If I was cool with Manny Pacquiao coming back and fighting Keith Thurman, I'm definitely going to be cool with this one. Barrios is not a puncher. Thurman was one of the biggest punchers in boxing. I think he's going to be just fine with Mario Barrios, who we know what he is on the top level. He comes up short. He's been stopped by fighters that are less than Manny Pacquiao and Davis. So I like this fight. I think he's not going to be an overwhelming favorite, but I think it'll be a 50-50 fight, regardless of his inactivity and age. His explosive.
The reality is that Pacquiao is 46 years old, has had 72 professional fights, and fought 498 rounds. That's a lot of training camps, a lot of weight cuts, and a tremendous amount of wear and tear. Chris Algeri wrote in Boxing Scene, Algeri, who once shared the ring with Pacquiao, also highlighted the Filipino legend's aggressive style. A style built on speed, explosiveness, and intensity, traits that are often the first to fade with age. Still, he acknowledged that despite the long odds, Pacquiao's vast experience and refined skill set could keep him competitive. I suspect we'll find out in the opening rounds at Las Vegas's MGM Grand whether he's still capable of hanging. At this level, Algeri noted, he could well look like an old man straight away, but Pacquiao was a truly special fighter. He's also the best I ever fought. And while the odds may be stacked against him, I'm convinced he can win. That's what makes his fight with Barrios so intriguing.
But you're fighting for a non-pay-per-view event, so you're going to be fighting for free against a guy like Manny Pacquiao.
Why? There are plenty of other fights to be making. But yet we're getting Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios. Is Manny Pacquiao even ready to fight in the ring? Why is he? I get he still loves the sport, but listen, you are an all-time great, a legend of the sport, a Hall of Famer. Why return? Why not just go pursue other things? If anything, do those little cheap expedition fights that you did last year, or those that are similar to that of what Floyd Mayweather keeps doing.
Algeri also pointed out that Pacquiao has repeatedly found success against taller opponents throughout his career. Mario Barrios stands 5'10", with a 71-inch reach, physical dimensions that suggest a size advantage over Pacquiao. However, Pacquiao has long been skilled at neutralizing taller fighters by using quick in-and-out movement, sharp angles, and explosive combination bursts. From Oscar De La Hoya to Antonio Margarito, Pacquiao's resume includes numerous opponents who had a clear physical height and reach advantage. This history shows that while size may play a role, it hasn't been a definitive disadvantage for Pacquiao, who adapts his style to overcome those challenges time and again.
Surprising. Obviously, I know Manny very well. You know, he's a true competitor. He's a guy that if you put something in his head, and obviously to create more history, he's a guy that's going to give everything and try his best. That's what Manny. One thing I always learned with Manny is give 110% and try your best no matter what. So yeah, he's going to give it his all. Again, you can't beat Father Time though. Father Time is hard, and it was very hard watching him fight Lucas. You could see it.
Meanwhile, the myth-making around Pacquiao continues through hypothetical fantasy matchups, such as those featured on the Mayweather channel on YouTube. When Floyd Mayweather Sr. was asked what might have happened if Pacquiao had faced Sugar Ray, Leonard in their primes, his answer was blunt and emphatic. And Leonard would beat Pacquiao. He'd knock him out cold, ice cold, just like how Juan Manuel Marquez knocked him out, Mayweather Sr. declared. This statement reflects the deep generational pride and stylistic confidence that Leonard's era still commands. Leonard's speed, ring IQ, and timing at his peak were legendary. And Mayweather Sr. believes these qualities would have been overwhelming for Pacquiao's relentless, swarming style.
I whoop it. What about Sugar Ray Leonard and Manny Pacquiao?
Man, Leonard run, man. Man, Leonard beat Pacquiao so damn bad. He'll knock him out. Cold. Ice cold, just like the one guy did. Marquez knocked him out.
What about poor Jeff over here? How would he done against Sugar Ray?
Oscar De La Hoya's evolving stance reflects the uncertainty surrounding Pacquiao's comeback. While he initially expressed concern, his tone became more measured in a later interview, shifting from apprehension to cautious optimism. This change mirrors a broader tension within the boxing world, the struggle between honoring Pacquiao's legendary career and worrying about his long-term health. De La Hoya, who famously suffered a crushing defeat at Pacquiao's hands in 2008, after returning to the ring past his prime, understands all too well the risks of being the older fighter. That experience adds depth to his perspective. And yet, even with that hard-earned insight, he stops short of dismissing Pacquiao entirely, because history has shown that counting him out is rarely wise.
Oscar, what do you think of Manny Pacquiao's comeback? He's coming back to fight Barrios for the WBC title at 147.
I wish him all the best.
Quadra, I love him. Can he do it?
Quadra? Can he do it? Absolutely. Manny Pacquiao's
Oscar needs.
He's a legend, you know.
Some nice ones, thank you.
He's a legend. I think he can do it. Absolutely. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but I think he can do it. Yeah.
We got to ask you about that Canelo and Terence Crawford tweet.
What was that?
Teddy Atlas offered perhaps the most grounded perspective in the entire debate. His insights stem not only from experience, but from a profound understanding of the physical and emotional toll boxing exacts. Speaking as someone who has seen too many greats stay in the ring too long and pay the price, Atlas's concerns are not a reflection of doubt in Pacquiao's courage or will. Those remain unquestioned. What troubles him is the unavoidable reality of aging, slower reflexes, higher susceptibility to injury, and the relentless drive of a younger, hungrier opponent like Barrios. When a 46-year-old legend steps back into the ring, the focus isn't just on what he still has. It's also on how much the other fighter has gained.
And in that way, I'm very concerned. I don't want to stop anyone from making a living, from making money. But I'm very concerned with a guy, a great man, who's helped his people, who's fought for his people, who's lifted his people up, who's given away money to his people, probably too much, but he gave away money to his people that is in a position now.
Mario Barrios is no gimmick opponent. He's a legitimate threat. In his prime, Barrios is a strong, aggressive, and physical fighter. Unlike the exhibition matches Pacquiao has recently entertained, this is a real championship bout caught under live fire conditions. Though Barrios has known defeat, including a high-profile loss to Gervonta Davis, those battles have only hardened him. He understands what it takes to perform on a big stage, to prepare for danger, and perhaps most importantly, what it would mean to be the man who retires Manny Pacquiao for good. Barrios won't step into the ring with reverence. He'll be coming to make a statement. Pacquiao's power remains his X factor, as his longtime trainer, Buboy Fernandez, rightly points out. But power alone, without the speed, rhythm, and stamina that once made it lethal, can become predictable. And predictable is beatable. If Pacquiao wants to win, he can't fight like a 46-year-old man. He has to summon the form of his 36-year-old self, and that's a monumental gamble. Still, his inner circle is holding firm for one final ride. Buboy, Fernandez, one of his most loyal allies. Freddie Roach, despite his initial hesitation, is back in Pacquiao's corner. His eventual support and his mention of Jinky Pacquiao's unexpected change of heart suggests that this isn't some impulsive decision. There's a real belief within the camp that Pacquiao still has something left to give. The physical preparation will be intense, no doubt, but the deeper question is what the body of a 46-year-old former champion can actually withstand, no matter how skilled or determined he may be. Jinky's shift is especially telling. For years, she's been the most vocal advocate for Pacquiao's retirement. Her approval could mean that Manny has shown something behind closed doors that changed her mind. Or it might simply be an acknowledgement that boxing is too deeply woven into who he is to ever fully let go. Either way, her backing adds a powerful, emotional current to the story, one that makes this comeback feel less like denial and more like one last unified stand.
The exhibition he had with Akpo. Why do you think they're making a lot of it? They say he didn't look good.
That is a real exhibition for Manny in the last year. But this coming fight on July 19, this is a real fight. Yeah, this is a big fight.
So they're gonna see a different Manny.
Yeah. I promise, as a head coach, of course, all the team fucking can work together with that.
The public, however, remains sharply divided. Many fans are already questioning whether this fight should have been sanctioned at all. The announcement has reignited concerns that boxing is once again allowing a legendary figure to risk lasting damage in exchange for nostalgia and ticket sales. Pacquiao's legacy is already untouchable. He's a global icon, a former senator, and a symbol of national pride in the Philippines. There is nothing left for him to prove. Yet here he is, not merely returning to the ring, but chasing another title.
But it's just his heart he said he wants one more fight, and then his wife calls me up and says, "Don't let him fight, don't let him fight." And I try to be on her side and so forth. But like when a man in the sport wants to fight, you know, sometimes he's gonna fight. Yeah, I agree with you. He's gonna fight. And you know who? It doesn't matter.
His last official bout against Yordenis Ugas hinted at the inevitable decline. The speed was still there, but only in flashes. His output had slowed, his movement grew more rigid, and the blistering explosiveness that once overwhelmed opponents surfaced only in isolated bursts, not in the relentless combinations of his prime. That fight was meant to be his farewell, a dignified, if bittersweet conclusion to a legendary career. But for Pacquiao, it wasn't enough. Not after a lifetime spent defying odds.
It's 100% disrespectful. This is a clown fight. This is a more clown fight than the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. This is an outrage. People should be up in arms about this fight. This is so disrespectful. Barrios loses this fight, he should quit boxing. You let Manny Pacquiao, an old dude who stopped boxing, and then you're his first fight back? You are disrespectful as a champ.
Roach and Fernandez may project confidence, but even they know this is uncharted territory. At 46, every round Pacquiao fights will be a test. His preparation will likely focus on applying early pressure, maintaining a high work rate, and using tactical aggression, because that's his best, perhaps only path to victory. If he can seize control early, make Barrios doubt himself, and land clean, effective shots, the fight could tilt in his favor. But if he gets drawn into the later rounds, especially while trailing on the scorecards, it becomes hard to imagine him finishing strong. Still, there's the looming possibility that Pacquiao pulls off the upset.
10 seconds!
If he does, everything changes. A win would spark immediate chatter about a showdown with Gervonta, Tank Davis, setting up a blockbuster pay-per-view event, and potentially extending Pacquiao's remarkable career once more. Sean Gibbons' comments about Tank Davis weren't idle speculation. They were part of a broader plan. And with Davis recently coming off a controversial draw against Lamont Roach, the matchup feels more plausible than ever. If Pacquiao defeats Barrios, the narrative practically writes itself. The living legend versus the sport's explosive new face. History colliding with the hunger of youth.
Don't shadow boxing like that.
Yeah. It's lazy, right? Just kind of...
When you do the shadow boxing like that, what is that for? Because you can apply that in a habit. You become a habit. When you shadow boxing like...
Of course, all of that remains hypothetical. For now, the spotlight is on one question. Can Manny Pacquiao walk into the MGM Grand and prove he's not just making a return, but making a real one? If his punches still carry weight, if his timing is still sharp, and if his instincts still move his feet with purpose, then the world may witness one of the rarest feats in boxing history. A former world champion, nearly 50 years old, climbing the mountain once more. What do you think? Can Pacquiao defy the odds again? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates.